Stop everything you're doing right now. Take a deep breath, because what you're about to hear in the next few minutes will forever change the way you perceive what was taken from you. You spent years of your life asking. You pleaded in silence inside your room. You cried in bed while your family slept. You knelt in the early hours with a heavy chest, unable to understand why it seemed like every door was closing in your face. Every time you tried to get up, someone seemed to push you back down. But I need you to listen to this with your soul and not with your ears. You did not come across this video by chance. God is looking at you this very instant, and He is saying a single sentence repeatedly inside your heart. I am restoring everything that was stolen from you. The years the caterpillar has eaten, the relationships destroyed by lies, the money that slipped through your fingers like water, the health that seemed to unravel day after day, the peace you lost without knowing exactly when. All of this is about to return. But there is a secret that no one has told you, and that is exactly why, until today, your manifestation has not come. Because you do not attract what you want. You attract what you feel you already are. And that is what we are going to discuss now, on a level so deep that when this video ends, your life will never be the same. I need you to understand a truth that will hurt at first, but will set you free in the end. Throughout your life, you were taught to ask. You learned to kneel and plead, as if God were a distant judge, sitting on a cold throne, waiting for you to beg enough to then, perhaps, grant you a crumb of what you deserve. This is one of the greatest lies ever placed within the human mind. Because the Bible says in Mark chapter 11, verse 24, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Do you realize the weight of this sentence? Believe that you have already received, not will receive, not might receive. You have already received. This is the point where almost no one understands. This is the secret that Neville Goddard called the law of assumption. You must assume, within yourself, the state of consciousness of the person who already possesses what they desire. The feeling is the secret. It is not the repeated request. It is not the lit candle. It is not the glass of water behind the door. It is the feeling of already having. It is the I am of the one who has already received. Think with me. How many times have you prayed for your financial restoration, feeling inside your chest the tightening of lack, the chill down your spine from past due bills, the fear of the invoice arriving? How many times have you asked for healing while feeling, in the very same second, the fear of the illness advancing? You were, without knowing it, decreeing the continuation of the problem. Because the heavens do not respond to your words, the heavens respond to your state of consciousness. And it is precisely here that something profound must be said, and I want you to feel this in your very skin. If a shiver has run through your body just now, if a tear has welled in the corner of your eye, if something tightened within your chest while I was speaking, pay close attention. This is not ordinary emotion. This is the Spirit of God touching you at this very second. You did not open this video because of an algorithm. You were led. For weeks, perhaps months, you have felt that something is about to change. You wake up in the middle of the night with thoughts you cannot explain, with a tightness in your chest that has no name. You look at your children, at your husband, at your wife, at your mother, and you feel a weight of spiritual responsibility that no one else in your home carries. You are the gate. You are the prayer that sustains that family. And God is showing you the reason right now. There is a layer of reality that very few perceive. Many hear beautiful words in videos, but only the called ones hear the voice behind the words. And you are listening. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, titled, How to Know If God Will Save You in the Final Judgment. This book is not common reading. It is not just another piece of self-help material. It is distilled revelation. People all over Brazil are sending me messages saying that after this book, 20-year marriages were restored in 7 days, old debts were paid, rebellious children returned home, medical diagnoses were reversed. The link is pinned right there in the description and also in the first pinned comment at the top. Do not leave it for tomorrow, because this content may be taken offline at any moment. If you felt the call descend just now, write in the comments the word Amen as a decree of acceptance of this new reality. Now that you have made your decree, I need to take you to a deeper level. Because what was stolen from you was not just something material, it was your identity. Think carefully. At some point in your life, someone looked you in the eyes and said, "You will not make it." It might have been a weary father in a moment of anger. It might have been a school teacher marking you forever. It might have been an ex-husband, an ex-wife, an arrogant boss, a false friend. It might even have been you yourself, in a moment of emotional exhaustion, looking in the mirror and saying, "I am not good enough for this. I was not born to be happy." And without realizing it, you adopted that as your "I am." And what comes after the "I am" comes to pass, with the precision of a physical law. When you say "I am poor," you are decreeing poverty. When you say "I am sick," you are decreeing sickness. When you say "I am alone," you are decreeing loneliness. The "I am" is the name of God revealed to Moses on the mountain. When Moses asked before the burning bush who he should say had sent him, the answer came clearly, "I am that I am." This is the creative power, and this same power is within you at this very moment. But there is a serious problem. Your subconscious mind, for years and years, has been programmed with decrees of scarcity, decrees of fear, decrees of "I am not enough." And that is why even when you try to think positively during the day, at night, in your dreams, in your internal conversations, in your automatic imagination, you continue to repeat the old programming. This is the inner dialogue that Neville Goddard spoke of so often, and which few spirituality teachers truly teach. It is what you converse with yourself about while washing the dishes after dinner, while driving through the hellish traffic of São Paulo, while waiting for the bus in the rain in Belo Horizonte, while lying in your bed in Recife, looking at the ceiling fan spinning. This silent dialogue is what builds, brick by brick, your external reality. You are building, at this very instant, your tomorrow. The brutal question is, are you building from fear or from faith? But stay calm, I need you not to lose heart, because now the most powerful part begins. Stop for a second and look within. You feel it, do you not? This restlessness that does not let you sleep. This perception that there is something much greater waiting for you, but it is blocked by a door you do not know how to open. Do not ignore this feeling, because it is God Himself pushing you toward the truth. That is why I have prepared a powerful digital book for you, and the link is pinned right there in the description and in the first comment at the top. Hurry, because this access is limited. Your family needs you awake. Now take a deep breath, because what follows is the heart of this video. I am going to teach you the bridge of incidents. This is one of the most powerful concepts of Neville Goddard, and most likely you have never heard of it anywhere else. The bridge of incidents is the way the fourth dimension uses to deliver into your life what you have assumed as truth within you. It works like this. The moment you assume a new state of consciousness, the moment you sit on your bed at night and feel with every cell of your body as if your restoration has already occurred, the universe begins to move pieces. But it does not move the pieces by magic. It moves them through natural incidents, apparently casual encounters, unexpected calls, messages that arrive at the right moment, people who appear out of nowhere in your life with the exact solution you needed. These people are bridges, these events are bridges. And your only job is to remain in the feeling of the fulfillment. Your persistence in the feeling is what activates the bridge. It is as if God said, "Now that you truly believe, now I can work." But this is where most fail. And I must warn you of a common error that is, at this very moment, cancelling out your manifestation. You assume the state for 2 days. You feel grateful for 2 days. You imagine the new house for 2 days. And on the third day, when the bill arrives, when the argument at home explodes, when the medical exam is frightening, you abandon the state and return to the old I am of scarcity. And then the cycle begins again. The bridge of incidents that was being built by you in the invisible collapses in seconds, because persistence is the key. Persistence in the feeling, persistence in the state of consciousness, persistence in the I am of the person who has already received. It is not faith that moves mountains. It is persistent faith that moves mountains. The entire Bible is a manual of spiritual persistence. Abraham waited decades for the promise, but never abandoned the state of father of many nations, even when his body and Sarah's were already old. Even when, from a rational point of view, it was impossible. Joseph was sold as a slave, thrown into prison, forgotten for years, but never abandoned the state of governor. David was hunted like an animal through the mountains, sleeping in caves, but never abandoned the state of king. Do you perceive the pattern? Restoration does not come to those who ask. Restoration comes to those who assume. And now, I need you to understand something that will expand your spiritual awareness. The most recent science, especially the studies from the HeartMath Institute in the United States, has already proven what mystics have always known. Your heart emits an electromagnetic field that can be measured several meters away from your body. This field changes according to your emotions. When you feel fear, scarcity, or anger, your heart's field emits a chaotic, disordered frequency that repels everything that could bless you. But when you enter into the feeling of gratitude for the restoration already received, your heart's field organizes itself into coherent, harmonic waves, and these waves literally attract to you the material conditions that match that frequency. This is not empty mysticism. This is the quantum physics of consciousness. The law of assumption is the spiritual side of a reality that science is only now beginning to describe with words. God already knew this when he inspired Solomon to write in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, "Above all else guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Your heart is the portal, and your feeling is the key that opens that portal. But there is a detail I cannot overlook, because if I do not tell you this here, you will continue to stumble. The feeling that activates restoration is not noisy enthusiasm. It is not the euphoria of someone watching a motivational seminar. It is a calm, deep, silent feeling, similar to the relaxation of someone who has just received good news and is lying in bed digesting the joy within. It is a feeling of "it is done," a sigh of relief, a quiet certainty. This is the frequency that moves the invisible. And this is the frequency that very few people manage to sustain, because life tries the whole time to pull you back into urgency, into panic, into survival. That is why your spiritual discipline from today on must be only one thing. Return to the feeling of restoration every time you are pulled away from it. 100 times a day if necessary. 1,000 times a day if necessary. Because each return to the feeling is another brick in the bridge that God is building between you and your miracle. And it is exactly at this point that something profound needs to be revealed to you. There is a spiritual window open right now, and it will not stay open forever. Have you noticed how lately certain things you previously ignored have begun to catch your attention? Conversations that seem to have been made for you? Messages that appear at the exact moment you were thinking about the problem? People you haven't seen for years reappearing? These are signs that heaven is trying to communicate with you, and you are being prepared to receive something great. But there is a silent enemy that tries to steal this perception from you. Distraction, the noise, the excess of information, life rushing by. That is why I need to tell you now with total clarity that this is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you called How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day. It is no coincidence that you are here listening to this. There are readers who wrote to me saying that, after applying what is in this book, they found the peace they had been seeking for 20 years, restored marriages on the verge of divorce, saw children return to the faith, and saw health recompose itself in ways that doctors could not explain. The link is pinned right there in the description and in the first comment at the top, separated and visible. But I must warn you, the number of copies of this edition is limited, and due to spiritual guidance, I may have to take this content offline at any moment. If God is calling you now, do not delay. Get your access while the window is open, and write in the comments, "I accept the restoration that God is performing in my life." Now I shall teach you the most powerful technique of this entire journey, and it happens at a specific moment of your day. There is a portal between worlds that opens for you every single day, and most people walk through this portal completely unconscious, throwing away the greatest spiritual opportunity of human existence. This portal is the exact moment when you are lying in your bed at night, about to fall asleep. That instant when you have already closed your eyes, but have not yet drifted off. Where the body is heavy, the breath is slow, and your mind enters a state akin to still water. Neville Goddard called this state a state akin to sleep. Modern science calls it the hypnagogic state. Ancient mystics called it the door to the fourth dimension. And in this state, any scene you imagine with feeling, any phrase you repeat with conviction, any I am you assume, goes directly into your subconscious without any resistance. It is like planting a seed in the most fertile soil in the universe. And in a few days, weeks, or months at most, this seed will sprout in your external reality in ways that will leave you speechless. Therefore, starting today, I want you to create a sacred ritual. Before sleep, do not touch your phone. Do not watch the news. Do not watch soap opera conflicts. Instead, lie down, close your eyes, and build in your imagination a short scene of your restoration already fulfilled. Feel the embrace of the son who has returned. Feel the smile of the reconciled husband. Feel the key to the new house in the palm of your hand. Feel the medical test result saying all clear. Feel the bank account with surplus. And most importantly, feel the gratitude as if it had already happened. Repeat this scene 3, 4, 5 times until you fall asleep within it. This is what is called nocturnal reprogramming. This is what Joseph Murphy taught in his classic, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And this is, without any exaggeration, the most transformative practice a human being can adopt. For while you sleep, your subconscious works at an accelerated pace. It reorganizes neurons, it reorganizes emotions, and it sends orders to the quantum field around you. It literally rewrites your future biography. People wake up different after nights of reprogramming. Their eyes shine differently, their voice emerges differently, their posture changes. And the most incredible part, doors begin to open in the external world, because the external world is merely the mirror of the internal state. You do not change the mirror by cleaning the reflection, you change the mirror by changing the face. And your face, in this case, is your feeling. When you change the feeling, the world changes. When you change the state of consciousness, reality has no choice but to obey. Now let me share a story that will etch this into your soul. A woman named Rosangela, 52 years old, living in the countryside of Paraná, wrote me a message I will never forget. She said she had spent the last 15 years of her life struggling against a debt that seemed never-ending, against a marriage that was coming to an end, against a daughter who had drifted away because of a trivial argument over money. She prayed every day, went to church, did everything she knew how to do, and nothing happened, until she found this teaching of the law of assumption. And she decided to run an experiment. For 30 nights in a row, before going to sleep, she imagined the scene of her daughter walking through the kitchen door, calling her mother, and hugging her while the pot of beans simmered on the stove. She smelled the beans. She felt the texture of the apron in her hands. She felt her daughter's embrace tightening around her neck. She felt the tears rolling down the corner of her eyes. She fell asleep within this scene every night, persisting in the feeling of having already received. On the 28th night, for no apparent reason, without anyone speaking to her daughter, Rosangela's phone rang at 11 o'clock at night. It was her daughter crying, saying, "Mom, I need to see you tomorrow. Can I come over? I miss your beans." The bridge of incidents built itself. God moved her daughter's heart because the mother persisted in the state. This is the law of assumption in action. This is the restoration that is available to you now. But I must confront you with something, because I cannot let you leave this video without telling you this. Most people who watch content like this feel inspired for a few hours, perhaps a day or two, and then return to their automatic lives. They go back to complaining about traffic, back to grumbling about their salary, back to arguing with their spouse about the same old fights, back to feeling small in the face of bills. And nothing changes. Not because God did not will it, not because the law does not work, but because the person did not persist. The difference between the victor and the defeated on the spiritual plane is not talent, it is not luck, it is not a special gift. It is persistence in the state of consciousness. It is the holy stubbornness of continuing to feel restored even when the eyes see the opposite. It is this faith that Hebrews chapter 11 calls the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Look at the magnitude of this. The conviction of things not seen. When you assume the state, you are seeing in the invisible what has not yet appeared in the visible. And this inner vision is the proof. You do not need to see the miracle with the physical eyes to be certain. You see with the eyes of imagination, and imagination according to Neville Goddard, is Christ himself within you. Remember what is written, Christ in you, the hope of glory. Glory is the manifestation. Christ in you is the creative imagination. When you imagine with feeling, you are letting Christ work within you. When you refuse to imagine or imagine the worst, you are crucifying Christ again within your own heart. Now I want to speak directly to the person who is here, feeling as though life has come to an end. You who are watching this video on your phone, with headphones on, hiding in the living room while your family sleeps. You who are watching this video on the bus, returning from a second shift at work, your body aching. You who are watching this video at 3 in the morning, unable to sleep, with a heavy soul. I need you to hear this. Your pain was not in vain. Every tear you have shed, God has counted. Every sleepless night God has witnessed. Every moment of I can't take it anymore, God has noted. And now he is saying, the time has come. Everything that was stolen will be returned twofold. The Bible, in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, brings one of the most beautiful promises in the Scriptures. I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. Do you perceive the weight of this promise? Restoration of the years, not of months, not of days, of the years. God is committing himself to return time, and time, spiritually speaking, is the most valuable resource in existence. When God restores time, he restores everything that should have blossomed during that time. The children who should have grown up close to you will return. The businesses that should have prospered will prosper. The loves that should have been experienced will come. The health that should have been cared for will be healed. But for this to happen, you must do your part. And your part is to assume the state, persist in the feeling, engage internally with the truth of I am restored, and sleep every night within the scene of your restoration. That is all you need to do. It is not difficult, but it is demanding because your mind will try to pull you back to the old at every second. Old thoughts will come like waves crashing against a rock, and you will need calmly to return to the feeling of restoration again and again, until the old internal dialogue dies of exhaustion. And it will die. All old programming dies when a new program is faithfully fed. This is law. This is as certain as gravity. And at this point, I need to remind you of a spiritual truth that few people talk about. The enemy of your restoration is not outside of you. It is within you in the form of your old identity. That old, I am poor, I am rejected, I am sick, I am abandoned, must die so that the new I am blessed, I am restored, I am loved, I am prosperous, I am healed can be born. All spiritual death is painful, I will not lie to you. When the old ego begins to realize it is being replaced, it goes into a panic. It creates drama, it throws a tantrum, it creates physical symptoms. It attracts old events to try to convince you that nothing has changed. Do not fall into this trap. These are the last gasps of the old. Do not give it your attention. Simply persist in the new state of consciousness, and in a short time, the old will disappear like a bad dream at dawn. I want you to close your eyes for a moment right now while you listen to my voice and say in silence from the depths of your chest, I am that which God says I am. I am restored. I am loved. I am prosperous. I am healed. I am blessed. I am. Feel the vibration of these words. Feel how they reorganize something within you. Feel how they dissolve old knots. This is the work. This is the path. And this is the portal through which restoration enters. And as I say this, I know that some people are crying right now. And that is fine. The tears are the sign that the old armor is breaking. The tears are sacred water washing away what needed to be washed. Do not hold them back. Let them come. Because on the other side of these tears is your new life. It is your new heaven. It is your new internal earth. Everything you have ever wanted has always been available. You only needed to learn how to tune into the right frequency. I need to remind you of one final truth, for it is the foundation of everything. The God you serve is the God of the I Am, and he created you in his own image and likeness. This means that you are also a little I Am, with creative power over your personal world. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are their creator, consciously or unconsciously. When you assume this, With humility and responsibility, life begins to obey. Not because you are an arrogant God, but because you are finally flowing with the divine current instead of rowing against it. Restoration does not come to give you more. It comes to return to you what has always been yours by divine right. The years that the locust has eaten, God is restoring. Feel this, believe this, and persist in this. That is why I have prepared a powerful digital book for you, titled How to Know If God Will Save You at the Final Judgment, to accompany you on this path of profound spiritual reprogramming. The link is pinned right there in the description and in the first comment at the top. This is not just any book, it is a map of the internal path that separates those who only dream of restoration from those who truly enter into it. Hundreds of people across Brazil have already received the restoration they had been waiting for years after applying what is in this material. Entire families have been rescued. Marriages on the verge of ending have been rebuilt from scratch. People who lived in deep depression have smiled again. Companies that were closing have reopened with strength. This book does not promise magic, it delivers the method. And the method works because it is the very law of assumption applied with the depth of the biblical I am. I must tell you with all honesty, this window may close. There is a specific spiritual moment for every calling. When you ignore the call goes away, and life returns to automatic. Do not let this happen to you today. Click the link, secure your access, and start the nighttime reprogramming this very night. Comment below the phrase, I receive God's restoration in my life now, as a decree of acceptance of this new reality. And if this video touched you, leave your like and subscribe to the channel, not as an obligation but as a decree of acceptance that you are willing to continue on this journey of awakening until you see the full manifestation. May the peace that surpasses all understanding be with you. May the stolen years be restored twofold. May your I am flourish in all areas of your life. And may you, when you look back 1 year from now, no longer recognize the person you are today, because God's restoration will have completely transformed you. Amen.